Hi, 6th grade. Welcome to our next video. Today we're going to be talking about multiplying mixed numbers. So let's take a look at this improper fraction here. Now we are going to just review really quick how we would turn an improper fraction into a mixed number. So just as a quick review, in order to turn an improper fraction into a mixed number, we would divide the denominator into the numerator. So in this case, we're going to divide 8 into 29. Well, 8 goes into 29 3 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Our remainder is 5. And so we have 3 and 5/8. So 29 over 8 can be reduced to a mixed number of 3 and 5/8. So that's just a quick review of how we would turn an improper fraction into a mixed number. Okay, let's take a quick look at a word problem. We are going to read the word problem, and then we are going to do a multiplication problem that involves mixed numbers. So Mr. White worked on his dog sled for 2.5 hours each day for 5 days. How much time did he spend working on the dog sled? So he worked on it for 2.5 hours each day for 5 days. So we would set up the problem to look like this. 5 times 2 1/2. So this is the first time that we have been asked to multiply mixed numbers. Now we've been asked to multiply a whole number times a fraction, but never a problem like this where we have a whole number and then we have a mixed number. So there's a couple different ways that you can multiply mixed numbers, and I'm going to first show you what I would call the longer way to do them, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more of a shortcut. So the first way that you can do it is by using the distributive property. So what that means is that you are going to take the whole number, which is 5, and you are going to distribute that number and multiply it by both parts of the mixed number. So it would look like this. You would multiply 5 times 2, and then you would also multiply 5 times 1/2. And then you would take the answers to both of those multiplication problems and you would add them together to get your answer. So let's work that out. So we're going to first multiply 5 times 2 and we get 10. And we're going to multiply 5 times 1/2. So multiply straight across, 5 as your numerator and 2 as your denominator. It's an improper fraction, so we're going to turn that into a mixed number, like we just reviewed, dividing 2 into 5, which could go twice. We'd have a remainder of 1. So 5 over 2 is going to reduce to a mixed number of 2 1/2. What do we do with those two answers that we have? We have a 10 and we have 2 1/2. Well, in order to get the answer to our original equation, we need to add those two numbers together. So we're going to add 10 plus 2 1/2, and we're going to get 12 1/2 hours. Okay, so that is the first way that you can multiply mixed numbers. That's using the distributive property. So now I'm going to show you what I would call a shortcut. So the other thing that you can do is, instead of using the distributive property, you can actually start by turning the mixed number into an improper fraction. So 5 is a whole number, so we're going to leave that alone right now. But 2 1/2 is our mixed number, so we're going to turn that into an improper fraction. Now, I don't know if you remember how we can turn mixed numbers into improper fractions, but it's very simple. All that you do is you first start by multiplying the denominator by the whole number, and then you add the numerator. So in this case, we are going to multiply our denominator, which is 2, by our whole number, which is also 2, and that'll give us 4. And then we're going to add the numerator, which is 1, and we'll get 5. And then our denominator stays the same. So 2 1/2 can be turned into the improper fraction 5/2. So now we can simply bring that whole number of 5 down, put it over a 1, and multiply straight across. So 5 times 5 would give us 25. 1 times 2 would give us 2. Then we are going to turn improper fraction into a mixed number. 2 goes into 25 12 times, and that gives us 24. We have a remainder of 1, and we keep our same denominator, which is 2. So our answer to our word problem is 12.5 hours. Okay, so there's our 2 different ways that we can multiply mixed numbers. So let's continue to get a little practice. Here's another word problem that we can practice with. So one morning during a race in 1925, a dog sled team traveled 28 miles in blizzard conditions. That afternoon, the team was able to travel 2 1/7 times further than in the morning. How many miles did the team travel in the afternoon? Okay, long word problem, but all you need to do is you need to multiply 28 by 2 1/7. So we're going to set up, and what we are going to do is we're going to first practice using the distributive property. So we would set up our problem to distribute that whole number of 28, and we are going to multiply both parts of the mixed number by 28. So it's going to look like this. So first we'll do 28 times 2, and then we'll do 28 times 1/7. So 28 times 2 is going to give us 56, and then 28 times 1/7, well, we can put the 28 over 1 and multiply straight across, which would give us 28, and then 1 times 7 would give us 7. So we would have 28 over 7, and then we need to reduce that. So 7 would go into 28 4 times. Okay, so now all we have to do is add these two answers together. 56 plus 4 gives us 60. So they traveled 60 miles. That would be the answer to our word problem. Okay, let's take that same word problem, and instead of using the distributive property, let's turn this improper fraction into a mixed number and then multiply. So let's turn 2 1/7 into an improper fraction, which again, all we do is we multiply our denominator, which is 7, by our whole number, which is 2, and that gives us 14. Then we're going to add the 1, which will give us 15, and we put that over the same denominator of 7. Now we're going to multiply that by 28 over 1. Okay, and now let's think back to our last lesson when we talked about cancellation, because in this problem we can simplify it even further by canceling before we multiply. So 15 and 1, there's not a factor common to both of those numbers. However, there is a factor common to both 7 and 28, and that is the number 7. So we're going to cancel out. 7 goes into itself once, and 7 goes into 28 4 times. So now we can multiply straight across. 15 times 4 is 60, and 1 times 1 is 1. And we know that any number over 1 is simply the whole number, so 60 miles. Okay, here's another word problem. I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to help you get it set up, and then I would like for you to pause the video and complete this as a practice problem. So 2 dog sled teams ran in a race. Jack's team finished the race in 20 3/4 minutes. Joe's team took 1 1/3 times longer than Jack's team. How long did Joe's team take to finish the race? Well, you're going to set up your problem to look like this. 1 1/3 times 20 and 3/4. Now for this one, what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to turn both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions and then multiply. Remember to use cancellation if you can. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and give this problem a try. Great job. Okay, so let's take a look. First, we turn 1 1/3 into an improper fraction of 4/3. Now we did that by multiplying 3 times 1 and adding 1, which is 4, and then putting it over 3. And then we turned 20 3/4 into 83 over 4 by multiplying 4 times 20, getting 80 plus 3 is 83, and putting that over 4. So now we're going to take a look. Can we do any canceling? Well, we can see pretty easily that we can cancel the 4s and put 1s in both of their place. And 3 and 83 do not have any common factors. So those numbers are going to stay the same. We'll multiply straight across and get 83 over 3. Now, by now you should know that we cannot leave our answers in the form of an improper fraction. So we're going to turn that into a mixed number. 3 goes into 83. First 3 goes into 8 twice. 6 with a remainder of 2. We bring that 3 down. 3 goes into 23 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Okay, we have a remainder of 2 and put it over the 3. So our answer is 27 2/3. So 27 2/3 minutes is the answer to our word problem. Okay, here's our last problem for the night. I want you to go ahead and pause the video one more time, and I want you to complete this equation. 3 1/5 times 2 1/10. Okay, excellent job. So we start by converting these mixed numbers into improper fractions. 3 1/5 converts to 16/5, and 2 1/10 converts to 21/10. So now we look to see if we can do any cancellation. 5 and 21 are going to remain the same because they have no common factor. However, 16 and 10 do share a common factor of 2. So we're going to cancel. 2 goes into 16 8 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So now we can multiply straight across. 8 times 21 is 168, and 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, we cannot leave the answer as an improper fraction. We need to convert to a mixed number. So you should have divided 168 25. Okay, and 168 divided by 25 would give you 6 and 18 over 25. Okay, that's it for tonight. Here's your assignment for tonight. Of course, your video notes, and then I would like for you to do practice problems number 1, number 7, and number 19 on page 154. Okay, you're going to have to practice using both the distributive property, and you can use the strategy of turning the mixed numbers into improper fractions. So you're going to practice one of each of those types of problems. You are also going to practice turning a mixed number into an improper fraction. Okay, have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.